What's up, y'all? Thanks for kicking it with
Kip
and Kurt,
and we're back again with another video.
Today we're going to be doing a voiceover of making seafood gumbo. Now let's get into the video.
Okay, so starting with the 2 red plates, we got some chopped celery and some chopped okra. It's chopped onions and chopped bell peppers, and then you got all your seasonings. You can choose whatever seasonings you want, and I'm going to briefly go through them a little bit. We got the sausages, the Dungeness crabs. The shrimp shells, I'm going to show you guys what I'm going to do with that eventually during the video. And then I got some shrimp and some conch as well. And this is pretty much everything that we're going to use to get started with the seafood gumbo. So the first thing I'm going to start doing is pretty much just melting some butter so I can saute the shrimp shells. And I'm going to use those shrimp shells to make some homemade seafood broth. You can use chicken broth if you want, but because I'm making seafood gumbo, that's pretty much what I prefer. And I could have bought shrimp broth as well already made, but I prefer to just do my own. So once the butter is melted down a little bit, just go ahead and drop your shrimp shells in there, and you're going to saute them. For those that are watching, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the post notification bell so you can be notified every time we post a video. So while the shrimp shells are still cooking, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get another pot started because I'm going to go ahead and start cooking the sausages in this pot. While you're cooking these shrimp shells, you want to just make sure you cook them enough where they start to turn red, as if you was pretty much actually cooking shrimps. It just helps bring out the flavor once you add your broth to it. So now we're going to add 2 quarts of these, the chicken broth. You can add the seafood broth if you want, but I prefer to use chicken broth because it's going to give it a seafood flavor once, you know, the shells and everything cooking it a little bit. So before you add the second container, just stir it a little bit. And then you can go ahead and you can start adding your second one. So once you finish adding your second quart, just go ahead and stir it a little bit. Set your stove to like a medium low, and just let it cook. Go ahead, put your top on it. Y'all, don't crack on my top. I know it's big, but I grabbed the wrong top, but that's fine. Okay, so now moving right along, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add some oil to the big pot that I had preheating already. This is the pot that I'm going to use to add my sausages in. Again, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that post notification bell so you can be notified every time we post a video. Now, when you're cooking your sausages, you can cook them to, you know, however you like them. I like mine's kind of burnt. That's how I prefer them. But I'm not going to cook them that long. But I'm definitely going to make sure that they are brown on both sides and dark enough, at least to my liking. So they've cooked a little bit. I'm going to let them cook a little bit more. Alright, so now they're pretty much done. So I'm going to go ahead and take them off. I'm going to check on the shrimp broth. It should come to a boil. This is how it should look when it's pretty much almost done. Go ahead, just turn it on low and let it keep cooking until it's time for you to add it. I would say let it cook for like 45 minutes to an hour, just to be on the safe side so you can make sure you have that flavor. So once you do that, you're going to use the same pot that you cooked your sausages in, and you're going to add some butter to it. You don't have to clean the pot first because you're going to need that flavor from the sausages to add more flavor to your roux. Go ahead and add some oil to it, and then you're just going to mix it up and add some flour until it gets thick. Make sure you're cooking, you know, your roux on like a medium temperature. And you can just keep adding the flour, you know, as you go along. Again, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and hit that post notification bell to be notified every time we post a video. I would have been using my whisk for this, but I broke it. I can get a little heavy-handed at time when I'm mixing stuff. See how I'm working this spoon? So that y'all can see why I broke my whisk. But again, like I said, just keep on adding flour until you get it to, you know, a thickness to your roux. So I'm making a big pot of gumbo, which is why I'm going to keep adding, you know, a lot of flour here and there until I feel like I got it to where I want it to be. And also the whole point of you to continue stirring and cooking and adding the flour is so you can get a brown color. See how it's getting brown? Now eventually it's going to get way darker than this if you just keep on stirring and adding that flour. Just keep on stirring and adding that flour. Now this is pretty much it right here, but I'm going to continue to let it cook, and I'm going to keep on stirring because I want it to be a little bit darker than this. So now it's pretty much where I want it to be. You can see that it's much darker and it's actually much thicker. And again, I'm just going to continue to stir, and I've turned my stove down just a little bit to like medium low. So once you made your roux, you can go ahead and you can start adding your onions to it. You're going to stir the onions inside of it and just let it cook for like 3 minutes at most before you go ahead and you add the next thing. It's going to be a lot of up and down with the temperature, of course, because you don't want it to overcook. You don't want it to burn. Once you let the onions cook, you can go ahead and you can add your chopped green peppers and let those cook as well for like another 3 minutes before you add the next ingredient. Just go ahead, keep on stirring. And once those are done, you can go ahead and you can add chopped celery. You're going to notice that everything is going to begin to look very thick and clumped, but that's fine because you're going to start to add some wet ingredients as well, which is pretty much going to loosen it up. But this is like your base right here. This is what you need for the flavor. So once you finish adding the vegetables, go ahead and add a tablespoon of garlic. You can use fresh garlic, garlic out the can, whatever kind you have at the moment. And just go ahead and stir that and let the garlic cook in that for about another 2 to 3 minutes. This is just building your flavor as you go along. So once you've done that part, you're going to go ahead and add your beer of choice. I would prefer you to use a lager. It's just better with the flavor, but you can use any beer that you want. I did end up using the whole can, but I would prefer you to also use just half of the can because it'll take a little bit more time to kill that beer flavor if you do end up adding the whole can. But it also depends on how much you make, so it's always up to you. Just mix it in there, and eventually it's going to thicken up again like now. And then you're going to go ahead and get ready to add your broth to it. So I already drained the shrimp shells out of the broth, and once you do that, it's pretty much ready. Just sit it to the side until you're ready to add it. And then just mix it up. So once I've stirred it and let it cook down for about a good 5 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and start adding my seasoning. So this is Cajun seasoning. You just add a little bit of that. Now I'm going to add some Old Bay. And again, you can add whatever seasonings you want. It's up to you. But it's a seafood gumbo. I'm going to add some pepper. So yeah, so I want more of like a, a seafood taste. So this is why I'm adding these type of flavors to it. Paprika. I have to definitely add the spices to it. Garlic. Again, we're using seafood, so make sure you add some garlic. Adobo. This is optional. Chili pepper. Chili powder, sorry. This is optional as well. Some complete seasoning. And then just mix it up. So once you've let that cook down for about another 5 to 10 minutes, you're going to go ahead and get ready to add some thyme. Just sprinkle a little bit in there. You can use fresh or you can use this kind. Then you're going to add 2 bay leaves. And then you're going to mix it up and then just go ahead and let that cook again for like another 5 to 10 minutes. And now you can add your sausages to it. Mix it on up. Let those sausages cook in there for a good 5 minutes to get that flavor. Now once you let those sausages cook down a little bit, you're going to go ahead and you're going to add some diced tomatoes. You can add half the can, the whole can. It's up to you. I'm only going to probably add half of the can. I don't like too much tomatoes. Let those tomatoes go ahead and just cook in there for about another good 10-15 minutes. Now we're going to go ahead in a separate pan and we're going to heat it up with some oil. And this is the pan that we're going to use to cook our okra in. So the reason why I'm cooking the okra on the side is because, okra has that, I don't know, that gooey stuff in it. So by cooking it, in the pan first on the side, it takes it out, it cooks it out. So it's no longer gooey like that. So I just let mine cook until it gets brown and, a little crispy on both sides. And then once that's done, you can go ahead and you can add it in your pot of gumbo. You're going to season it a little bit with some salt, a little bit of pepper. Just mix it on up and let it cook down a little bit. Have your stove on probably like medium high, that's good. And as you see now, they've cooked down a little bit. I've added some corn in there. The corn is optional. So while this is still cooking, just make sure you're going back and forth about every 5 to 10 minutes and stirring it and checking it. I'm sorry, y'all. So my voice probably changed because I am sick now. When I started doing the video in the beginning, I was not sick, but I did take a day off to finish the video, and now I am sick. So yeah, my voice changed. So now I'm about to add some conch in here. Right now, it's pretty much about done, so we can go ahead and just start adding our seafood in. So this is the conch. We're going to go ahead and let this cook in there for about 5 minutes. Now, I did add my conch a little bit sooner than I should have, so honestly, I wouldn't even add the conch and the shrimp until the same time. I would add them in there together because both of them cook very fast. So the first thing I would say to add is your crabs. But now I'm going to go ahead, since my okra are finished and they're brown as you see, I'm going to throw them in there. I did not add a lot because I'm not a big fan of okra unless they're fried. And then just stir it in there. You got the conch in there and you're going to let those flavors go ahead and cook for about a good 5 minutes. Now that that's done, you can get ready to go ahead and add your next meat in, which is going to be your Dungeness crabs, snow crabs, whatever crabs you want to use. We're using Dungeness. Go ahead and start mixing those up, making some space because I got a lot more that I got to add in here. We got these Dungeness crabs from Publix. They're pretty huge. So once you've let those Dungeness crabs cook in there for about a good 8 minutes, just go ahead, check on it, mix it up a little bit more. And now you can get ready to add your shrimp. So these are some pretty nice size shrimp for a gumbo. I think the size is like extra large, but again, you can add whatever size you want. But understand that if you add shrimp that are too small, they are going to cook down, so they're going to get even smaller. So just make sure you have a good size shrimp to add into your seafood gumbo. Once you do that, just go ahead, let those cook in there for a little bit. The shrimp always get added last because, of course, they're the quickest thing to cook. But also don't forget, like I said, in the beginning about the conch, you can pretty much add the conch and add the shrimp at the same time. The conch is a little tougher, so it may take like an extra 5-10 minutes. So now I'm going to add some crab oil, which is like a chili oil or just some type of spicy oil. And it pretty much just intensifies the heat of the seafood gumbo. So I'm going to add about a cap full of it, or maybe a little bit more because I like my stuff spicy. But you can add it to your liking and it will make it very hot. So just be careful. If you don't like too much heat, only add half of the cap. And just stir it up and let that mix up and cook down for a little bit. So everything's pretty much cooking good. I'm checking the shrimp. Those are pretty much cooked. So you could go ahead and turn your pot down because now it's time to plate. It's all done. And that's that seafood gumbo. Look at that shrimp. So it's pretty much done. I let it cook for about a good 20 more minutes and now it's time to plate.
Hey guys, it's Kurt taking over. Babe did such a good job. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the post notification bell to be notified every time we upload. And now on to plating. As you can see, we've added some white rice to the bottom of the bowl. And of course, on top of that, we're going to add the contents of the gumbo. The white rice is completely optional. It's completely up to you, but we love rice, so of course we added it. Here you can see the corn, the sausages, the conch. You can see everything was added to the top, and then of course those delicious Dungeness crabs. These were so good and so juicy. They kind of soaked up all of that broth. This is pretty much the end of the video. We hope you enjoyed watching it as much as we enjoyed making it. And that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Remember, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and that's all. Peace.